Welcome to today's transformation dive into the earn flow zone. Ever feel like you're stuck in neutral while everyone else is hitting financial hyperspeed? You scroll social media, and it's all massive gains, passive income empires, overnight success stories. The highlight reels scream big win. And you're left wondering when your lightning strike is coming. Maybe it's landing that whale client, finding the next crypto rocket. Or just hoping a distant relative remembered you in their will. This chase for the thunderbolt moment, it's an illusion, and it might be the single biggest block to your actual progress. If you're ready to ditch the fantasy and build real, lasting financial and personal growth, you're in the right place. Hit like and subscribe. Seriously, it makes a huge difference and helps us reach more people looking for actionable steps, not just hype. And hey, drop a comment below. Where are you watching from? And what's one small money win you've had recently? Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. You know the feeling. You're scrolling, and there it is. Someone celebrating a ridiculous crypto gain. Another flashing their supposedly hands-off passive income empire built in weeks. You see the highlight reels, the sudden jumps, the supposed shortcuts to success. It makes you feel small, stuck, like you're missing a secret key that everyone else found. You start thinking, if only I could land that one huge client, or, man, if this stock would just moon, or my life would be so much easier if I'd inherited a little cash. You find yourself buying the lottery ticket, chasing the viral trend, desperately looking for that one magical investment or opportunity that will solve everything. This, my friends, is the powerful illusion of the big win. The pervasive myth that significant financial progress happens in giant, unpredictable leaps, that you're just one lucky break away from everything changing. Here's the harsh reality. Because you're fixated on waiting for that financial thunderbolt, you completely dismiss the tiny, seemingly insignificant actions that are right in front of you, begging to be done. What difference will saving $5 really make? You think. Or, tracking my spending for a week? Too much effort for way too little result. You wait for the monumental burst of motivation required for a big change, and guess what? It rarely, if ever, comes. You're stuck on the dock waiting for your ship to come in, while everyone else is busy building theirs, one plank at a time. The overnight success you see on social media? It's almost always built on a mountain of unseen, consistent, often boring, small actions taken over a long, dedicated period. The big win isn't the starting line. It's the glorious result of accumulated small efforts compounding over time. This perspective shift is critical. Your action today, take just 5 minutes, right now, to write down one specific area of your finances or career where you're currently waiting for a big break. Be brutally honest about it. Identify that one thing you're hoping will magically change, instead of focusing on the small steps you could take today. Okay, you've probably been told to shoot for the moon, to go big or go home. That's great for motivational posters, but honestly, it's often the biggest barrier to actual progress. Let's kill the big win fantasy right now. The most powerful force in building wealth, success, and confidence isn't a sudden jolt, like winning the lottery or landing a dream job overnight. It's the almost invisible compounding effect of small, consistent actions. Think of a giant oak tree. It didn't just appear fully formed one day, right? It grew from a tiny acorn, adding minuscule amounts of mass daily, yearly, through sun and storm, steadily expanding its roots and branches. Most of that growth was utterly invisible on a daily basis. If you blinked, you'd miss it. This is the principle you need to ingrain into your journey, whether it's finance or fitness. Tiny efforts, consistently applied, create monumental results over time. It's not about the intensity of one single action, like pulling an all-nighter to learn everything. It's the frequency and persistence of many small ones. Saving $10 feels laughably small against a $50,000 debt. Learning code for 15 minutes feels like nothing compared to changing careers. Skipping one fast food meal won't make you rich, despite what some influencers might imply. But what if you saved $10 every week? That's over $500 in a year. What if you learn code for 15 minutes every single day? That's almost 100 hours of focused learning annually. Definitely enough to build a foundation. What if you skipped 3 fast food meals every week and redirected that money or health benefit? Here's the surprising insight. The real plot twist. The actual barrier holding most people back isn't a lack of capacity for grand gestures or heroic sprints. It's lacking the simple discipline for mundane consistency. It's not exciting, it's not viral, but it's the engine of growth. The magic isn't in the size of the step you take, but in the commitment to taking a step, however tiny, every single day, or every week, or every time the opportunity arises. It's showing up for that 10-minute workout instead of skipping because you can't do an hour. It's tracking just one expense today instead of planning to budget your whole life tomorrow. This one habit changed everything for me and countless others. Choosing to take the smallest possible step consistently. Your action today? Choose just one ridiculously small action related to your money or a key skill you want to build. Something so small, you can do it in under 10 minutes. For example, track just one single expense. Read one paragraph of a finance book. Do one job search for just 5 minutes. Just one, and do it today. Section 3. Compounding isn't just about money. Okay, let's talk about a word most people pigeonhole into spreadsheets and savings accounts. Compounding. When you hear it, you probably picture money making more money, right? Like a tiny seedling growing into a giant tree just by sitting there. And absolutely, that's a perfect example. $100 in a savings account earning a little interest isn't going to make you rich overnight. But that interest earns interest, and over years, it creates that hockey stick curve, exploding seemingly out of nowhere. It's financial magic, but the principle applies everywhere in your life, not just your bank account. Think beyond the dollars. Compounding is the force behind almost every significant personal growth win you'll ever experience. Take physical fitness. Doing one push-up feels kind of pointless, right? You won't suddenly look like a superhero. But doing one push-up every single day builds something far more powerful initially, the habit of showing up. That consistent, tiny action compounds into routine, into discipline. Soon, it's 2 push-ups, then 5, then a full workout routine you don't even think twice about. Your physical strength and your commitment muscle, they both compounded. Learning a new skill? One new word in a language today might seem trivial. Learn one new word every day for a year, and bam, you've got 365 new words, enough to start navigating conversations. Your knowledge compounds. Your social network? Sending one networking email feels small. Send one strategic email every week for a year. You've built 52 potential connections. New doors opening. Your network compounds. Every time you choose to delay instant gratification for a bigger future win, you strengthen that discipline muscle. That muscle compounds too. The core idea fueling all of this, financially or personally, is momentum. Tiny, almost insignificant actions create tiny wins. These tiny wins build undeniable belief in yourself and the process. That belief fuels more consistent action. The initial resistance you feel, it decreases because you trust the system. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, the results accelerate. This is where the myth you absolutely must abandon comes into play. The myth that progress is linear. You expect to see a straight line of improvement, but life isn't a graph in a textbook. It's a curve. Often, it's flat, even frustratingly stagnant at first. This is the phase where you're pushing a massive boulder up a slight incline, immense effort for minimal movement. But once it gets rolling, even slightly, it gathers speed. That's the compounding taking over. So your action today, right now, identify one area in your life outside of money where you've experienced this compounding effect firsthand. Maybe it's learning an instrument, improving a relationship, building a crafting skill, whatever it is. Take just 2 minutes to reflect. How did that feel in the very beginning when progress was slow? And how did it feel later on when things started accelerating? Now, intentionally take that feeling, that understanding of nonlinear growth, and apply it to your chosen small money action we talked about earlier. Trust the process, even when the curve is flat. This leads us perfectly to a principle that is often overlooked, yet applies no matter where you stand on the financial ladder. It's Section 4, and it's called Small Steps for Every Level. See, this isn't some fluffy concept reserved just for beginners digging out of scary debt, though it absolutely is crucial there. This principle scales beautifully. It applies whether you feel like you're scraping pennies just to make rent, or you're strategically building a multi-million-dollar empire. The level you're at simply dictates the nature of the small action, not its validity or its power. Let's break it down. If you're a beginner, your small actions are about establishing fundamental habits and achieving survival-level control. Think of it like mastering the basic push-up before attempting complex gymnastics. This might look like tracking every single dollar you spend for just 3 days. Yes, even that impulse coffee. It could be finding one small, forgotten subscription to cancel. Maybe it's setting up a simple alert for your bank balance dropping below $100, just so you know where you stand. Or opening a separate savings account, maybe even just transferring $5 into it every week. These steps feel laughably small, like trying to bail out a sinking boat with a teacup, right? But what they build is invaluable. Awareness and a sense of control over your own money flow. This isn't about getting rich today. It's about stopping the bleeding and getting your bearings. If you're a mid-earner, you've got the basics down. Maybe you're saving a bit, but growth feels slow. Your small actions are about optimization and gentle, consistent growth. Imagine you've mastered the basic push-up. Now you're adding a few reps or trying slight variations. This means automating a slightly larger transfer to savings, maybe $50 a week instead of $5. It's committing to reviewing just one utility bill or insurance policy each month to find potential savings hiding in plain sight. It could be increasing your 401k contribution by just 1% of your salary. Barely noticeable in your paycheck, but hugely impactful over decades. Or spending 30 minutes a week, just half an hour, learning about low-cost index funds. These are tweaks, fine-tuning your engine, not rebuilding it from scratch. But their effect, when applied consistently, year after year, compounds like crazy. It's the difference between getting somewhere slowly and getting there significantly faster over a decade. If you're an ambitious builder, you've got systems, investments, perhaps a business. You're playing a different game. Your small actions aren't about fixing holes or gentle optimization. They're about refining existing systems and increasing leverage. This is like an elite athlete perfecting their technique by milliseconds. It might be spending 15 minutes analyzing just one key business metric daily, making one small improvement to a sales script or a marketing email based on data, reaching out to one potential collaborator or mentor each week, or delegating one small, recurring task that frees up your valuable time. These tiny efficiencies and expansions, applied consistently across a larger, complex system, create disproportionately massive growth. You're tightening bolts and adding boosters, not laying the foundation. Here's the myth that holds people back at all levels. The quiet whisper that says, it's not enough to matter. Oh, but it absolutely is. Your current level simply dictates the nature of the small action you should take, not the validity or the power of the principle itself. Every skyscraper starts with a single brick, every fortune with a single dollar saved or earned. Your action today, based on your current level, are you truly a beginner getting your footing, a mid-earner optimizing, or an ambitious builder refining? Choose one, just one, tiny, specific, actionable step you will take in the next 24 hours that aligns with this principle. Don't overthink it. Don't pick 3 things. Just one. Write it down. Seriously. Go grab a sticky note or open your phone's Notes app right now and commit. This isn't homework. It's the first step toward unlocking your next level of earn flow. Okay, you've taken the plunge. You chose your small, powerful action. Maybe it's saving $5 a day, reading 1 page of a finance book, or cutting out that impulse coffee. You did it today. You did it tomorrow. You stayed consistent for a week, maybe 2, and crickets. Nothing earth-shattering happens. Your savings account balance barely budged. Your understanding feels the same. That business idea doesn't have customers knocking down your door yet. This, my friends, is what we call the dip. It's that frustrating, often invisible period where consistent effort seems to yield minimal, if any, visible results. This is the precise moment where most people throw in the towel. Why? Because they came in expecting linear progress, a steady, satisfying upward line. Instead, they hit a flat plateau, or even a slight dip if they miss a day. Cue the self-sabotage. Your brain screams, "Aha, I knew this was pointless." It's wired to chase the quick dopamine hit of the big win. But staying disciplined and consistent through the dip, that's the real superpower you're cultivating. Think of it like hitting the gym. You don't see 6-pack abs after 2 weeks, no matter how hard you lift. You're building the muscle underneath, the resilience, the absolute trust in the process, even when the mirror shows you, well, pretty much the same thing. This is what separates those who eventually achieve significant results from those who stay stuck in the trying phase. Here's the crucial reframe, the habit that shifts everything. Don't focus solely on the outcome in these early stages. That's like watching paint dry and expecting a finished masterpiece instantly. Instead, laser focus on the consistency. Celebrate showing up. Did you do your small action today? Tick the box. Give yourself a mental high five. That's the win. You're not just building savings or a skill. You are building a habit, a discipline, and most importantly, a new identity. I am someone who consistently takes action towards my financial goals. That identity shift, that's compounding too. Try this. Think about a time you quit something because you didn't see results fast enough. Acknowledge that pattern. Now, commit to focusing purely on the consistency of your chosen small action for the next 7 days, ignoring the outcome completely. Just track if you showed up. Just that act changes the game. Section 6. Your single step to compounded growth. Let's bring this home, shifting from understanding the principles to activating them. For many, the roadblock isn't a lack of desire, it's the paralyzing pursuit of the big win. We're conditioned to expect the magic button, the overnight success story that plays out on highlight reels. This expectation is a trap. It keeps you waiting, stuck in neutral, convinced that progress only counts if it arrives in a dramatic surge. People often underestimate the quiet, relentless power hidden in tiny, consistent actions. This isn't just theory. It's the fundamental engine of real wealth creation, skill mastery, and building anything substantial, whether it's a business or your own personal resilience. Think of it as the daily 1% improvement, the modest $5 saved without fail, sending just one critical email, or making a single, small tweak to a routine. It's watching an acorn become a mighty oak, layer by invisible layer, through consistent, patient growth. Ignore this fundamental truth, and you're signing up for the hamster wheel. You'll endlessly chase the next hyped opportunity, feeling that familiar sting of frustration when big results don't materialize instantly. You'll keep dismissing the small, doable steps as beneath you, not glamorous enough for your ambition, and you'll never build that crucial momentum, forge the necessary discipline, or harness the compounding effect that turns modest efforts into extraordinary outcomes over time. You won't reach your financial goals, not because you lacked the capacity for one heroic, monumental effort, but because you lacked the simple discipline for 1,000 small, unsexy ones. It's a surprising truth. Consistency often beats intensity in the long run. But choose to embrace this principle, everything changes. You stop waiting for permission or the perfect moment. You start acting. You build momentum, gaining a tangible sense of control over your progress. You probably won't see jaw-dropping results next week, maybe not even next month. But look back in a year, 5 years, a decade. The results, the growth, the wealth, financial and otherwise, will have compounded in ways that are genuinely hard to fully grasp from where you stand today. The distance between you and your goals begins to shrink, not with a sudden leap, but with the steady, rhythmic click of consistent small steps stacking up. Your single, doable step today, right now, after watching this, open your phone, go to your alarms or calendar, set a recurring reminder for your chosen small action. Maybe it's 5-minute budget review, transfer $5 to savings, or spend 10 minutes learning a skill. When that alarm rings just today, do the action. Then, tomorrow, do it again. That's the launch code. You start the compound machine with one click and one action. Try this for a week. Just set that alarm and answer it when it calls. Your future self will absolutely thank you for it. Wind down reflective close. So, as we wind down, remember the core message. The path to significant growth in finance and in life is rarely a single giant leap. It's built brick by brick, step by small step. The desire for instant gratification is powerful, almost addictive. But it's the consistent application of simple habits that creates lasting wealth and true freedom. If you can just commit to that single, doable action today and then repeat it tomorrow, you aren't just building a habit. You are actively building momentum, unlocking the power of compounding. The potential long-term benefit here isn't just a bigger number in your bank account. It's the profound confidence and control that comes from knowing you are the architect of your progress. It's realizing that discipline isn't about grand gestures. It's about showing up, imperfectly but consistently, for yourself every single day. It's a deeper insight that your financial reality is less about luck or external circumstances and more about the internal habits and mindset you cultivate. In the end, your bank account will catch up to your mindset, not the other way around.